What up, guys? So today I wanted to talk about islands in the Caribbean that you can get a golden visa, uh, investment visa via real estate investment. Now, there's different golden visas, and sometimes it's investing money into like government projects, or it's putting money into bank accounts. There's various options, and sometimes it's just a donation where it means you're giving like $200,000 to the government and you're not going to get any of that back. I wanted to focus in specifically on the island nations that give you a golden visa for buying real estate. And this means like buying your own condo. So you can be given a golden visa, and a lot of these will lead to residency. Some will even lead to citizenship just by buying a condo. And there's actually a decent number in the Caribbean, and I wanted to start with the most expensive financial requirement down to the most affordable option. And now, surprisingly, there are affordable options in the Caribbean, and pretty solid options if you're just looking for a nice beach getaway where you can pretty much just be given a long-term residency permit and even become a citizen. But let's start at the very top as the most expensive. Now, if I was to ask you, what's probably your guess for most expensive investment property opportunity in the Caribbean? You might say the Cayman Islands, and you would be correct. Now, you can actually be given a golden visa to the Cayman Islands if you are willing to invest $2.5 million into real estate. Now, real estate there, I'd have to look it up, but real estate in the Cayman Islands might be per square foot some of the most, if not the most, in the Western Hemisphere. But if that's what you want, that's what you want, but it's expensive. There's three islands that make up the Cayman Islands, and it is just south. It is south of Havana in Cuba. But there you go. Next is Anguilla. This is to the east of Puerto Rico and British Virgin Islands, and to get a golden visa here, it is $750,000 real estate investment, and that is for up to 4 people. If you want that, if you have a larger family, if you want that to include maybe your parents, or sometimes, external family that you adopted, you're going to have to pay more than that. But it starts at $750,000 for Anguilla. Getting a little cheaper, the country closest to the United States in the Caribbean, the Bahamas. For the low price of $500,000 for real estate property, and in terms of all these different countries, 500,000 is towards the top. But if you look at average real estate prices in the United States right now, 500,000 isn't crazy at this point. Of course, for a real estate investment, you can't get a mortgage to pay it off over 30 years. It's got to be just drop the cash, and that's it. So keep that in mind with these property purchases. You have to, in order to qualify for that golden visa, you almost always have to pay it all up front. Because if you're only paying $30,000 a year or whatever, you're not giving them the entire investment at once. Now, each place is a little different, so it's always worth checking each country out for specifics. Oftentimes there's additional fees, and it can change annually. You never know. Sometimes a new government comes in, they want to switch things up. Some of these countries that are overseen by the British, French, or the Dutch, sometimes it's not just influenced by the local government, but by the European government. So there's different things to look out for, but this is just current numbers, and just take it from there. So again, if any of these countries interest you for a golden visa via real estate, make sure go further into specifics for the countries. Okay, after the Bahamas at $500,000, we have Antigua and Barbuda. Now, this is $400,000 for a real estate property. Now, it has to be government approved. So take that. They might want to steer you towards investing money into, you never know. It's going to change, almost by the month. But $400,000 real estate property. Again, a lot of these are smaller islands on the eastern kind of crescent of the Caribbean. It kind of buffers right between the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean. So these are really small islands. So even if you get real estate in the middle of the island, everything's going to be close to the water. So let's keep that in mind. But yeah, so 400,000, it's got to be government approved. Now next, it's Turks and Caicos, which is east of Cuba. Technically, the real estate investment golden visa starts at $300,000. Good luck finding quality $300,000 property. Chances are you're going to be spending a lot more than that, and the numbers are $300,000 up to $1 million. So there's a good chance you're going to be spending closer to the $1 million mark. Now, even though this is a British overseas territory, this is one where you will not be given British citizenship if some of these islands where you can get residency within the island, and then you can eventually get citizenship, which once you get citizenship for that overseas territory, you are then technically considered a citizen of the United Kingdom or the Dutch. That is not the case for Turks and Caicos. You can get residency for the island, but you can't get citizenship. If you want British citizenship for the different island, there are other options that are more affordable. Now, next is Curacao. This is just north of Venezuela. This is overseen by the Dutch. It's part of the Netherlands, the Kingdom of Netherlands, however they want to go by it. And the investment is $280,000. Now, we're starting to get to that more affordable stuff again. You have to pay it all at once, but it's $280,000. And this is one you actually can kind of moonwalk your way into Dutch citizenship. If you go this option, you can get a residency and you maintain it. Eventually you can up that to citizenship for Curacao, and then you just once you get citizenship there, you're a part of you have Dutch citizenship. So keep that in mind. Moving on, we have Grenada. It's $220,000. This is another one where it has to be government approved, and there are extra fees. So you're probably going to inch closer to $250,000, $300,000, but the starting price is $220,000. And because there are fees, you can kind of spread it out a little bit during your investment. But again, with this kind of thing, you're probably going to have closer to $300,000 at the end. Getting cheaper still is St. Lucia. This is $200,000, and again, this is another government approved option. But we're starting to get to that. You're paying half of what you would in the United States for a comparable size. You're probably not going to get a massive sized, house. You could, but you're going to be paying in the millions of dollars most likely. But you can get a $200,000, condo, and as long as you pay for it all up front, you will, you got your golden visa and you got your residency right there. So again, this is government approved. Now, for the same price, but you don't have to deal with government approval, it's Dominica, not to be confused with the Dominican Republic. Dominica is $200,000, and it covers your entire family. So whether you have 3 or 8 or whatever, as long as it's part of your immediate family, you're good to go. And $200,000 is a solid option. If you are a fan of the travel TV show House Hunters International, you've probably seen a lot of property options in Dominica, and there's a reason why. Because that $200,000 mark is something, maybe viable option for certain people that might have that, or maybe you have a property in the States and you're like, I'm done, I'm going to downsize. You could probably sell it for a pretty penny nowadays, and then $200,000 buy a condo in Dominica, and $200,000 buy a condo, I don't know, someplace in the States. But option. And now we have two more that let you get golden visas via real estate investments. Now, I should have said earlier, there are other golden visa options in the Caribbean, but some of the, like, it's not with real estate. I wanted to focus with real estate because you get like an instant, you have a house. You're getting residency for buying a house, which is awesome. And so next is, excuse me, next is Montserrat. This is British Overseas Territory. It is $150,000. This is one where if you get residency and you maintain it, you can get British citizenship. At least at the moment, there are talks. You never know. Again, like I mentioned earlier, that if the powers that be in the UK decide to kind of pull the plug and put the kibosh on it, there's not much you can do. But as of right now, this moment, you can get a golden visa for $150,000, and if you maintain that for about 5 years, you can backdoor your way into British citizenship. Lastly, it's St. Kitts and Nevis. That is also a $150,000 investment property, but sometimes they do price cuts. There are times where they cut it down to $125,000. And again, a lot of these countries are on the eastern edges of the Caribbean, and the islands are small, similar in size and stature. You might want to look at them. Some of them, like Curacao, are out of hurricane, paths, so you won't get hit there. I personally think that's worth, maybe you spend a little bit more, but you know what, you can live there most, if not all year, and not deal with major, massive storms. Something to consider. But again, those are all of the current Caribbean nations that give golden visas via real estate investments. Might be worth checking out if maybe you're retiring, maybe you have a house that you want to, again, downsize, or you just want to move out of the United States. These are all viable options. But yeah, that's it for now. Like, subscribe, do all the good stuff, and I'll see you guys later.